While millions of people are locked onto screens during the World Cup, wearing flags like armor, acting as if a single goal could restore an entire country's self-esteem, some people are there but feel absolutely nothing. And this video is about those people. People who do not care about the World Cup. People who, unlike others, feel nothing during the World Cup. People whose brain sees the anthem, the panic, the national pride, the excitement of the crowd, and still says, I understand what is happening and I respect it. I just do not feel the way they do. By the end of this video, you will understand why your brain does not care about the World Cup. And you will see that this may not be only about football, but also about identity, control, belonging, and borrowed pride. Because not caring about the World Cup is often not just about sports. Sometimes everything starts from a very simple place. Football is simply not an entertaining activity for you. The rules, the teams, the tactics, the drama, none of these feels like a natural reward for your brain. But when the World Cup arrives, this simple disinterest turns into something bigger. Because now, you are not only staying away from a sport, you also feel like you are stepping out of a shared emotion. Picture the room. The match is on. Everyone is standing. Your friends are talking in we and they, as if they personally walked onto the field themselves. We need to score. They are playing a good game too, but we deserved this. And you are sitting there with a smiling face, trying to look interested. But emotionally, there is nothing inside you. Then someone notices. You really do not care. And suddenly, your neutrality becomes suspicious, because the World Cup is not seen as normal entertainment. It is seen as a loyalty test. When you say, I am not interested in football, people do not only hear that, they hear something bigger. You are not one of us. This is where the first clue appears. The World Cup is not just football. It is a call for emotional participation. For a few weeks, the flag becomes personal. The anthem feels heavier. A mistake made by someone you actually do not know feels humiliating. A goal scored by a stranger feels like salvation. People who do not know each other hug in the street because for 1 second, their separate lives disappear and turn into one shared body. Social identity theory has a simple idea. A person does not build their identity only from their private self. They also build it from groups, nations, and symbols. That is why when the team wins, the self also feels like it has grown. That is why people say, we won, after watching other people run for 90 minutes. You did not score. You did not train. You took no risk on the field. But the brain still takes a small piece of that victory and adds it to the self. Psychologists call this basking in reflected glory. Your team wins, and your sense of self rises with it, because your identity has formed a bond with that team. That is why the World Cup works so well. It gives the feeling of personal victory without any personal risk. For a moment, ordinary life connects to something much bigger than itself. Your country is fighting. Your side matters. Your pain has a score. But for some brains, this is not an easy transfer to accept. They do not see the flag and suddenly feel represented by 11 strangers. They do not experience national victory as personal achievement. Their mind asks the forbidden question, okay, some people won something, but what did I win? And once this question appears, the spell weakens. This does not mean they are bad people or emotionless. It may mean that their identity does not automatically attach to the crowd. Their pride needs a clearer source. Their loyalty asks for more than geographical attachment. A World Cup match is built on uncertainty. One mistake, one penalty, one red card, one last-minute goal can change everything. For a fan, this uncertainty creates excitement. Every attack can become a goal. Every mistake can become a disaster. And this keeps the nervous system inside the game. The issue is not just a World Cup match. The issue is the loop: hope, fear, almost, relief, anger, hope again. But a different kind of brain experiences the same loop differently. It looks at the situation and thinks, why would I hand my nervous system over to a World Cup result I cannot control? Shouting at the screen does not change the game. Wearing the jersey does not change the game. Believing more does not change the game. For some people, this is not excitement. It is emotional helplessness dressed as entertainment. They want to give their energy to places where their effort can touch the result, to a skill, to a project, to a relationship, to a personal goal, to a problem they can truly solve. So when they feel nothing during the World Cup, it may not mean they have no passion. Maybe their passion refuses to be a spectator. There is also a quieter reason why some people disconnect from World Cup culture. The emotion feels compulsory. The room already has an emotion, and you are expected to enter that emotion too. If everyone is shouting, you must shout too. If everyone is proud, you must be proud too. But some people resist emotions that come like instructions. The moment the group says, "Feel this with us," a part of the mind tries to protect its own autonomy, because forced emotion does not feel like belonging. It feels like being recruited. This is why the World Cup feels so strange to people who do not care about it. They are not just watching a match. They are watching millions of people allow a symbol to move their body, their mood, their language, and their sense of self. And the deeper issue begins here. The real question was never, why do I not like the World Cup? The real question is, what kind of belonging does my mind refuse to imitate? Because maybe what disturbs you is not football. Maybe it is the shortcut. Someone else performs, and you feel as if you succeeded. The crowd feels alive, and you borrow their aliveness. A flag gives you identity before you have to build your own identity. This is what makes not caring about the World Cup more interesting than it looks. It is not always indifference. Sometimes it is refusing to hand your inner world over to the outside. Attention is not neutral. The thing you give your attention to again and again teaches your brain what kind of life is important. Some people give their attention to teams, tournaments, and World Cup stories. Others give it to ideas, work, family, creation, solitude, or private battles nobody applauds. The stadium inside them is not empty. It is simply hosting something else. So if your brain does not care about the World Cup, the problem may not be that you cannot feel. The problem may be that the crowd expected your emotions to be transferable. It expected you to borrow pride. It expected you to borrow urgency. It expected you to borrow identity. It expected you to borrow a reason to care. But not every mind works that way. Some people need the crowd to feel alive. Some people only feel alive when they stop borrowing the crowd's emotions.